Twilight song again, and I wanted to bring you some more Star Wars symbolism. In the last Star Wars Decode, we looked at Star Wars itself, and we found that, for one thing that I thought was really worth bringing to you, was that the whole thing adds up to 911 or 119. So go back and see that video if you want to go through, and I showed you some of the hieroglyphs that I found from those words. Now, this movie has a lot of twin symbolism, but the major twins are, of course, Luke and Leia. And these are the two golden rules. Each has a golden rule, is the 12, right? That's the full circle of the zodiac. That's pi. And it is the right turn. So we have all the sacred geometry in here, the ratios, and we have the intention of the golden rule, which is treat others as you would wish to be treated. So the other thing that I want to mention about the two L's is we have a lot of double L symbolism, for example, in Christianity, which is basically, I believe a symbol, I believe a lot of the Christmas carols have to do with twin symbolism. And so what they're talking about here, for example, the Christian song, or the Christmas song, Noel, Noel. And I learned about this also from Dennis Fecho from the Illuminatus Observer, where he said that Noel, Noel is code. That song, the reason why it repeats is because they are telling you to know the L, which is basically one faction of Illuminati, or one Lord, and know the other L, which is the other faction of, the light and the dark. So Noel, Noel means to learn that, they're not both of them are evil. You need to learn about them. You need to know both of the L's. Noel, Noel. Okay, well, here we have two L's. And together they make a full day. And they represent a lot of opposites, male and female. Together they're at 12 and 12, half the days. Each of them makes a full day. They're not really saying which one is light and which one is dark. Luke has 49 in his name, and he has the 37, which this is the 12th prime. And I thought I was going to find a mirror in the primes over here, but I didn't.
All right, well, I see a math error that I already did in Leia. She is 28, not 19. What I must have done was take the Pythagorean, or the digital root of 12, and add it to the 16. So she's 28, which is the full rotation of the sun is visible from the Earth, and that makes a lot of sense, because I feel like that's really a feminine aspect of a feminine number for her to have.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting. This is the 12th prime, just the ook part. But if you add the 12 to this, then you get the 49, which I've decoded this word before, and it's 49, and I think this means the way. Now, Luke had more of a more of a way of self-discovery. Leia was raised as a princess, and she may have been taught the secrets. She seems like she didn't, at least there was never a time where she didn't understand what was going on, and where Luke was raised in blindness, and he had to find his way. He had to make a lot of moves that trusted himself to find his way. All right. She has the 12, and then her letters reduce to 16, which is a P. And I'm starting to think that we're supposed to take this P, as it spins around the axis. So this actually could be the phi. That's what I'm starting to think about the P. But her letters add up to
her letters add up to 28. So what I did is I took the Pythagorean root of 16 and added that to 12. So I just got to keep my Pythagoreans and my unreduced numbers separate. All right, here we go.
Okay, so their parents were Anakin, Skywalker, and Padme. Now, so here we have Anak, and then N is the 23. So here we have some of our 111 that you see when you look at the movie, and I've noticed Casey's been finding this a lot of 1-1's symbolism, especially having to do with the dark force. I don't think that this is necessarily a dark number. I think that some dark people have this number, but I think that they could have been recruited. They could have been, you know, these guys pay attention to the numbers, so they come along, they find a child who was born on this, with this number, and then this child rises to power. That might be the story of Queen Elizabeth II. So just because you're born with this number in your name or in your birthday doesn't mean that you are, you know, Illuminati. It could mean that you have a powerful voice or a powerful energy, and you could, as Anakin shows, you can go to the light or the dark with it. Now, Anakin started out light, or innocent at least, but what happened was he had an attachment. And the thing is, if you want to be a true warrior of truth, you can only be aimed towards truth. On every other subject, you need to be flexible. So he lost his mother, he blamed himself, and he spiraled due to that attachment and due to the self-importance of thinking that he should have been, you know, big enough and strong enough, you know, enough of a hero to save his mother. So he got attached to concepts, and the movie shows how attachment to concepts brings you down. He spiraled and went to the dark side. Padme, and I can't remember what George Lucas says about her, but she was his counterpart, and I have a feeling that she is a different race, you know, in terms of the overall symbolism of the story, that she's a different race. So this is a race combination. She's bringing in the Venus energy. I don't know what he's bringing in. I think this is more of an Enlil character, that Enlil could have been good and turned and went to the dark side because of his attachments to power, right? That kind of makes sense if you want to combine that with the Anunnaki history. Or he started out innocent, and then he became attached to power, and, you know, got very angry and tied to a bunch of things. Now, all right, so I wanted to look at the hieroglyph of Padme and Anakin. Anakin's I'm going to, first of all, because his is complicated, I'm afraid I'm going to forget it before I tell you. So, where are we? Anna is 114.1, which is 16, which is a P. And then it's ANA, so the ANA is the P. Then you have a K right after that. So I'll just draw it here. PK, because this is the ANA, right? So I drew the K on the P. Well, doesn't this look like the Chi Rho, right? And the K, guess what the K equals? It equals an 11. So I guess we'll just go ahead and straighten those out into these are the, you could call these the twin pillars, but they cross here. And this is the Chi Rho, you know, that Rome uses for its symbolism of and if you study the works of Wayne Herschel with the hidden records, and probably other places too, this is symbolic of Orion. And so here again we have Orion as the stem. Now, as I'm learning to see these hieroglyphs in terms of a, you know, with their spin potentials, this P would go both ways. Okay, so I'm going to draw it both ways. And then it's our phi, the golden ratio. Just an idea. I'm not sure about this exactly. Then we have, so that's Anak right there. Just the A-N-A-K right here, Orion. And, you know, if you study a little bit about Orion, the ideas that people have about Orion is that Orion is the challenge of the galaxy. This is, you know, what you would say is where the Nadis come from. So, so Anakin would be born with challenging DNA. Okay, then in is the 23, which I have decoded in another video to if you go into something, it would be kind of like a fall. So not only that, but this shows, if you read right to left, it shows the 2 peaks of the 5 being on top, which leaves the 3 on the bottom. So this is the fallen, oops, sorry about that. This is the fallen pentacle. Okay, so kind of foretells what's going to happen to this guy. So here is his hieroglyph for you. I do think that he walks the path, because the Chi Rho is here, I do think that this kind of tells the story of the Vatican. That perhaps the Vatican, you know, if you follow what I've been telling you about Marduk Ra had a lot of good intentions. Not that he was a god. No, not saying that. I'm saying as a historical figure, he had a lot of good intentions to create a time of peace. And he was also not one of the major troublemakers. He tried to save his humans, Marduk Ra. Not saying that you should worship him, just as a historical figure. But Marduk Ra, if you read the history, he did start what looks like the very early start of the Vatican, and it was based on the Ibri, the crossing. The Ibri people are the Hebrew, and people don't think that the Vatican and the Hebrew are connected, and that's because the ideology, they don't want you to think that's connected. No, but if you go back in history, you can see that it is connected. And if you look closely at the teachings of the Vatican, you can see that it's actually an Ibri. It's actually an Ibri religion. It's a Hebrew religion. It worships the one God, which is Enlil. And it makes the Ibri people the chosen people. And it makes everybody else, you know, you're already born behind the 8 ball. You know, you're already born, you're going to have to struggle and run as fast as you can on this treadmill to reach the status of the chosen people, you know, so start praying. That's the Vatican religion. So if you think that this does not sound like an Ibri or Hebrew religion could be behind this, then, you know, you just need to breathe and pray and try to relax with this idea. Yeah, I know it's a big bite to chew, and hopefully we can just chew this together. But this, I believe, Anakin, besides telling the story of the Anunnaki, besides telling the story of Marduk Ra and Enlil, it also tells the story of the fall of the Vatican, because I think that when Marduk set up the Vatican, he didn't call it the Vatican, I don't think, although it wasn't a word very far off. He didn't mean for this to become the bane of human existence and, you know, the ruler of the world, and, you know, that they would start running orphanages and children would start disappearing and child abuse and everything. I don't think he pictured all that. So I think it did start with decent intentions, and then it got derailed. So this also talks about the downfall of the Catholic Church, because this is a major sign of the Catholic Church here. So that is an interesting perspective, right? And then this shows the fallenness of this, and it shows how Anakin fell. And then, you know, and Padme, here's hers. Her pod, she has more of an Eastern religion kind of a tie-in for her name, and maybe this is just a different powerhouse of the ancient power families. But just to look at her letters, Padme, it has the 16 and the 1 and the 4, which is a 21. I'm gonna have to answer that, probably. All right, I'll be right back. So we're looking at the Padme, where'd it go? No, I can't see it. Oh, okay, here it is. The Padme hieroglyph that I made. Now she's an important figure because the story of Padme and Anakin is kind of mirrored a lot. I even saw it a little bit in the Mad Max movie, which also has a 9/11 in its title. You know, Mad is 9 and Max is 11. So, but what I had noticed, I didn't watch that whole movie, but in the trailer, I see that Mad Max falls upside down and is caught by the leg by the woman heroine, who I think is playing the role of the sacred feminine Isis. And that's kind of the same story as Anakin and Padme. She tries to catch him. She holds on to him while he's upside down, and she tries to right him. Now, in the Mad Max movie, I think that the sacred feminine character there succeeded in righting up the male, and here she did not succeed. And I don't remember the story. I want to watch it again. I don't know if she died in childbirth or what happened. She must have died in childbirth, but it's weird that I don't remember that. But I wanted to show you. Okay, so these PAD is 21, and that is the U. Okay. But I think that the P is also important, so I'm going to leave it in the hieroglyph. And I wanted to do this on camera to show you. The P is rotating around the center, and that makes it a phi. Okay. Then we have, oh no, now I'm going to sneeze. All right, well, anyway, May is 18, Padme, and that is the R, which is the manifestation number. And we also, if you can keep in mind, we have the M. This encodes the Adam and the Eve, as I've shown you before. And the E encodes all the things that I've showed you before, the Star of Ra and the Trident, and more. But for our hieroglyph for her, we're going to put the P, which is phi, inside the upper dome, which is the U. Here's the stem of the P. And then the lower dome, I think, is formed by the R, which is she births, right? So this is the birth. And you would say this is the birth of the twins. Venus twins, okay? Venus twins, really, you know, there's just so much in all symbolism. Don't say that I fully understand it. We just have to keep collecting the clues and then, you know, wait for the realization to fully dawn on us. But Venus twins are the sacred twins in the womb of Isis. If you haven't seen my video about Paris, Isis and Paris, Isis Marie. Paris was named after Isis. Isis is the sacred Marie. She is the Holy See. It's all connected. You have to loosen up your grip on some of the dogma that's been taught by the churches, because I think they taught you the wrong thing and they're holding the secrets to themselves. So I want to help us lift up the veil and look at the secrets. What are they hiding? So anyway, Paris is named after Isis, one of the first temples to Isis in Paris was Saint Sulpice. Getting off on an aside here. But anyway, she was the embodiment of Venus, and in her womb, if you haven't seen my video, in her womb, in Paris, or just on the outskirts of Paris, actually, is a womb it's a double chalice. I did all the measurements. There's a lot to see, and inside the womb are twins, a boy and a girl. Where's my boy and my girl twins? There they are. Now, you know, I always like to try to look for the silver lining and the hopeful answer. Luke and Leia are the two L's, the children, and they are they represent both sides of the coin, both sides of Venus, the morning and the evening star. They are the Venus twins, right, that came from Padme. And the integration of the two sides of the coin, learning to balance, learning to be a Skywalker. I did that too. show you that in a minute. Learning to be a Skywalker, learning to balance the up and the down and the left and the right and the inner and the outer. That's the answer. That's the walk. Those are the problem solvers. Okay, and if you stumble along the way solving the problem, you just got to get back up, dust yourself off, and learn to balance your dark and your light. So those are the Venus twins, and they are in the womb of Isis in Paris. So just when you think you've seen it all, you know, click on that video. There's more to see. So here's what I would say is her hieroglyph, and it has the this is the birthing of the R. The R is the opening. I know that a lot of people have seen this a lot of times, so I'm not gonna. The B goes to the R. That's the opening of the birth canal, and you know, it even kind of looks here like she's having twins. See, or it's a double phi. You know, we've seen some double phis lately. If you want to see more double phis, look at my phi squared video. I think even if you're not really comfortable with math, I think you'll still like that video. Okay, I'm going to go to another video to talk about Skywalker. Very interesting because I don't know if you guys know, but there's a Mayan horoscope app where you can check your Mayan horoscope. And one of their, they have many, not just 12, many categories. I should know the number, but I don't. But one of the aspects, is a Skywalker. So I think that's where George Lucas got that, is from the Mayan mythology. So that's very interesting and something to know. Okay, well, I'll talk to you about Skywalker in another video. All right, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Hi there. So this is a postscript. Somebody asked in the comments and then I lost it because sometimes I click the back notification arrow before I click the reply, and then I lose it because of the way that the comments are structured, and I can never, there's so many I can't get back to that one. So sometimes if I don't answer you, that might have been what happened, that I answered and then lost it. But it's a good question. Why do we do hieroglyphs? The reason why I do hieroglyphs is because I believe that it gives us a deeper insight into the true meaning of the word. I believe that most of us do not know what our language actually means. It has deeper meanings. Our words have number bases, and oftentimes these numbers don't mean what we think they mean. For example, hello. I don't think that's a nice thing to say. Good luck. The numbers say that is not a blessing. So when I just started to discover those things, I realized that I needed to learn how to speak my own language. And so I started looking at all the numbers, and then I realized that if I started to look at the hieroglyphs, I would get a more full-bodied answer about what the actual picture of this number is. I started with chalice, and doing the hieroglyph of chalice convinced me that hieroglyphs do give you a really good insight. So that's the answer to that question. Sorry if I didn't get back to you. So thanks for your questions and your comments, and I do appreciate them, and I do appreciate when you attempt to be polite with me. I'm a person and I have feelings, and I do make mistakes, and I know that sometimes I'm hard to follow. But I hope you like the videos, and I hope you're learning about the language and the numbers along with me, and thanks for coming along. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.